tell you how grateful I am that you've come to this event today. We know from each of the previous waves that those people who are more successful on the programme enjoy the support of their managers. Ashleigh, I wonder if you'd like to say a few words about how the Aspire programme benefited you.
I became an ALM just as I got accepted onto the Aspire programme, and there's loads of different masterclass and things which helped me in my new role. So the confidence building, the presentation was a big one for me, because at my launch event I sat and I did not speak. I did not ask a single question, whereas now I've done all these different things through Aspire, I kind of do those things now. So I do the presentations, I'm doing this now, which 2 years ago I would never have dreamed of doing. And then also, after doing the ambassador things as well, so I did the mentoring workshop, so I can now do mentoring for Aspire, and it's just loads of different opportunities. It's absolutely amazing.
Thank you very much, Ashleigh. I'm going to turn to Duncan first. Have you any questions that you would like to ask about how best to support Hannah through the programme?
I don't think I've got any questions. I wanted to add that I know Sarah's experience has been that the group of ex-Aspire people has been an incredibly valuable sounding board at times, and it's a really good networking group. So that's a significant piece of value from the scheme. But I don't think I've got any particular questions at this point.
Thank you. I quite agree. Duncan, can I ask you then a question? What is it that you think you did which helped Sarah to do so well on the programme?
She led her programme herself, raised things with me at one-to-ones, so she very much led the whole thing. The support from me was in, I suppose, responding to whatever she wanted to discuss and ensuring that there was time for it within a one-to-one process.
Thanks very much, Duncan. Stella, could I invite any questions from you?
I don't actually have any specific questions, but I suppose I'm fortunate that I probably know quite a bit more about the scheme than other people do. What I would echo is met with a lot of people who've been through the programme at various events. Just heard such fantastically positive stories about the impact it's had on people's sort of personal lives as well as their work life. I think the key thing for me will be to make time available for the people that I've nominated on the programme for when they've got things that they want from me, and make sure that I am sort of supporting them through the programme. But I don't have any sort of specific questions.
Thank you, Stella. I'm going to ask Ella now. Ella, can I invite you to raise any questions that you have?
Hiya. Yeah, I mean, I guess my main questions really are exactly what my role is with Leanne. Do I need to offer her opportunities to come around and shadow things with me, or is it that she comes to me and she asks me or tells me what she wants to do?
Perfect question. And there are 3 key things that you need to do in order to help. The first is to make sure that they have a quiet, private space where they can have their coaching sessions. Some people do that from home because we know in a busy service it's not always possible for people to find a quiet space where they're not going to be interrupted. Secondly, it's a little bit of help with each of the 3 toolkits that they'll be completing over the course of the next 3 months. Thirdly, it's about giving them then that ongoing support in order to attend any learning and development activities that they've identified on their plan. Ashleigh, is there anything you'd like to add?
What I found really useful was just knowing that I could go to my manager and say, oh, I want to do this, and that she was just really, really supportive. And she let me manage a lot of it myself. I was in a role where I wasn't on shift and things, so that made it a little bit easier. But if your staff member can get their shift covered, allowing them just to go out and arrange it themselves and sort all that out, really.
Perfect, thank you, Ash. Ella, has that answered your question?
Yeah, no, that's great, thank you. That's really helpful.
Just finally then to add, if you ever need any other advice or guidance, or you've got a question, you can always call me. I'm going to turn to Louise now.
Hi, I think Ella asked my main question, to be honest, which was really helpful. But the only other thing is that Philip is only 20 hours a week. So how do we balance supporting him to come off shift and achieve, but also actually maintain his skills within the service? and not take away too much from the person he's supporting?
Yeah, that's a fantastic question, Louise, and you'll be reassured and not surprised, I don't think, to hear that question is often raised,
I'm sure.
especially where people are working part-time.
Yeah.
May I ask you what initial thoughts you have? Because obviously you know your service. Is there any time within his 20 working hours that he can be spared in order to do the Aspire-related activities?
Possibly if it's computer-led within the evening, certainly if he's on a late, that would be a lot easier. But the person that he supports is very active and does like to have interactions through most of the day. So it would have to be coming off of all of the shift or covering part of it so that he can have that time away. But how often would he be expected to have time off shift?
Ash, could I just ask you to indicate for the first 3 months, just to remind us how much time is needed?
For the first 3 months, it's really just the coaching sessions, which are about 90 minutes. So if the person you support needs that interaction whilst he's there, it's probably best to do those coaching sessions at home, as we said earlier on, so you can concentrate solely on them. Something that I found helpful as well, if he's doing a masterclass online during the day, is for him to have a chat with his team members about it as well. If they understand what he's doing and why he's doing it, they might be a bit more willing to come in and say, oh, well, if you're doing that for those 2 hours, providing particular activity to the person you support, that they will just come and cover that 2 hours for him to do a masterclass for him. So for him to have those conversations amongst his team so they know what's going on.
Yeah, that's a brilliant idea. Thank you.
In addition to the coaching sessions, there are these 3 toolkits that need completing, and they typically take about 45 minutes to an hour a piece. So you're probably looking at no more than an hour a week over the first 3 months. And after that, completely depends on what's hit Philip's learning and development plan, but we'll need to consult very carefully with you on that one to make sure it's phased sufficiently over time so it doesn't compromise the level of service, at the same time as giving him the opportunity to access the learning and development opportunities that he needs. Has that answered your question?
It has, yeah, thank you.
Are there any questions that you would like to raise or any discussions that you'd like to have related to supporting people through the Aspire programme with your colleagues who are here?
All I would just more to add really to what people have just been, to what Ashleigh was saying, that from when I've spoken to people that have been through the programme, there was a concern initially about how they would manage to fit in the coaching and obviously working in a busy service. And everybody said that actually when it with a combination of doing some stuff in their own time and with flexibility, it hadn't been as much of an issue as people had initially thought it might be. So I think the way it's panned out is that although it is very much a concern that a number of people have at the start, experiences that it does get sorted okay.
Thank you, Stella. Sometimes people experience personal issues that emerge after they've started the programme. And if I may, I'd just like to say a few words about the option to pause Aspire. We've worked with quite a few people who've either been bereaved just after they've started, or someone they love's developed an illness. And in that case, what we can do is just press pause. We talk to the individual concerned about whether or not that's the best option for them. So it's perfectly fine if you're supporting someone who needs to step off the Aspire programme for a particular period. I mentioned taking on enhanced responsibilities a little while ago, and what that often means is they're saving time for their managers. A typical weekly time saving for managers that we're tracking is running at about 4 hours a week. So I hope that you'll soon discover that far from taking up time from work, it's quite helpful to you in enabling them to step up to delegated responsibilities. I'm going to go to Duncan first. Duncan, closing statement from you then?
Very much looking forward to supporting Hannah to get stuck in and get the most that she possibly can out of Aspire. And she's got her fist in the air in excitement, so it's all good from here.
Ella?
Yeah, I feel a bit like that as well. Leanne's really looking forward to getting into it, and I'm looking forward to supporting her through it.
Many thanks.
Thank you, that was really helpful. I'm looking forward to seeing what Philip learns about himself and about where he feels his next step will be.
Nikki?
I found it really useful, and I'm really looking forward to supporting Debbie on her Aspire journey.
That's perfect. Great. And last but by no means least, Stella?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it, seeing what people come up with that they want to work on, and I'm also looking forward to retaining my two people